It's the final set of week 3, and what better set to have than Eager versus Denial? As you Americans would say, it's a doozy.
It's a doozy. Yeah, maybe like people who are 40 or 30. It's okay, Hindu. Anyway, Eager versus Denial. Denial looking really solid this split. Unfortunately, though, taking 2 losses against LG earlier this week. Eager, on the other hand, while they were one of the premier North American teams last split, a little struggle here.
While that's on the screen, just look at this for a second. Enemy, who went to Worlds and finished second, sat second from bottom in NA.
And also going all the way to DreamHack, eventually losing to Soar, who got 2-0'd by Allegiance.
And now you've got Eager and Denial trying to catch up with LG here. LG are guaranteed #1 after this week.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I mean, there's no way of catching them. They're on 14 points. Denial's on 10.
At least for Denial, they can't match it. I'm pretty
crazy.
sure Soar can catch them, though.
Not this week.
Not this week, no.
Not this week. Like, they're going to end this whole week being top.
Yes, for sure.
Crazy.
LG looking really good right now here. And these two teams having really strong showings. I'm excited for this matchup. I think a lot of this is going to come down to mid laners. I think the best here in this matchup is going to be the key for Eager finding this win.
Well, we'll see what they can do here, because they now got off to a great start this season, really coasted to the #1 spot to begin with. But since then, it seems they've stagnated a little bit. The rest of the season seems to have caught them up. And Eager, other hand, they just don't really seem to have got started yet.
Maybe not enough practice here. Obviously, Zap was away for quite some time leading up into this split. But as they go through, right, all of this is preparing for those group stage lands. That's when it's going to become critical that you finish top 2 in your 4-team group. And so Eager just working out their kinks, I think, getting back into the flow. We even heard Aror recently on an interview actually just kind of talking about like, yeah, you know, we weren't really happy with everything, but we've been putting in a pretty heavy grind now to close out.
I'll see if they can do something for this. Before picks and bans are ready, though, just a little update for you. Reminder that it's the last day you can get a sale for yourself, 33% off on PC and Steam players for the Ultimate God Pack here. Get it ready for the Jing 10 Mountain. It's important.
Final day. And you got to play Anubis. You can see Anubis up there. He's actually the best guy.
Soul's actually pretty good, too.
So, yeah, Soul's pretty solid. Yeah, I think we saw a lot of exciting stuff. But for this matchup, I'm really excited to see the synergy between the teams because Eager feel a little bit lackluster, I think. It doesn't seem like they're combining as fluidly as we see Denial has been.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see how this one plays out, because obviously both these two teams, the last 3 sets, they've only managed to pick up 4 points each, which means they've found 1 win and 1 split so far in the last 3 sets.
Denial, first pick here on the order side. Terra, probably going to be something we're going to see here, banned or picked up by Denial. Shadowq, one of the more cerebral players that focuses pretty heavily on theory crafting, trying to figure out what matchups are going to do the best, what options, and actually starting with the Chronos ban, targeting away Zapman.
We've seen a little bit today, though, with Terra and Fafnir both getting through.
Where it's like, we'll take one, the other team gets the other.
And maybe we'll see that start to be fall back to from both sets of regions now, that they both just realize, yeah, Guardians are good right now. Let's get one for Terra, one for Fafnir.
It comes down to, are Denial going to ban it, though? Because Eager likely to leave both options open here in Denial. They can either A, ban away Fafnir or Terra here, which means Eager going to ban away the other, or they leave it open, and then Eager more than likely going to leave both options up as well, unless they feel like they have a counter strategy.
Well, this has got to be Nemesis, right? This last ban has to be Nemesis. No, it's going to be Fafnir.
Wow.
So Denial actually have a decision to make now.
And so Eager taking away Fafnir, I think, is more focused on objective play. Denial really good at that, looking for early gold furies, looking to siege up, obviously, the course, very powerful. And so Eager know that they'll either get A, Terra, or B, Nemesis.
It's funny because that actually says to me as well that they're more scared of Shadowq being on Fafnir than they are of Homiefe playing Nemesis here.
Obviously, Homiefe very good, but I think he does better with kind of global ultimates. He's very fast across the map. We see a lot of Thor come out from him. Same with Ratatosker. And so taking away that option is good for Eager. Actually going for the Soul and Amaterasu, so still leaving Terra open. They're not really worried about this pick. Probably done a fair amount of theory crafting around it.
Well, then on top of that, we're going to see Bacchus picked up one more time for Shadowq. He played it a lot this season so far as well. Not going to be really surprised to see him go back to that once more.
One more pick here. They could look for their Hunter if they want. Soul, still a little bit of a flex option. I think that's more going towards Zapman, though. A lot of high pressure coming out. They're going to go Raijin, looking for that mid for Hurriwind. Give him something very comfortable.
This is great because that's their trio in the mid lane already sorted. They've got the 2 side lanes still to pick, and they can get focused a little bit in the counterban phase, but it gives them a lot of room for maneuver to see the rest of the squad eager line.
And Eager going Guan here. This is more than likely going into support role, although DJ has played it traditionally in the jungle. Looking back to Season 2, we saw Weekend also flex that option of Athena that he did heavily in Season 2 into this split. So there is that kind of, where exactly are Eager going here? They could have options to switch it up depending on what Denial finished out their draft with.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, DJ playing that in the jungle so much. But Denial not expecting that Guan Yu to be in the jungle here with that
Fenrir ban. Yeah, DJ is really good with Fenrir. He specifically focuses he specifically focuses on supports. He likes to pick them off. Obviously Bacchus, who's going to be engaging. You can see that Ragnarok come out afterwards. A lot of times it forces supports to go into purification, which they do not like to go into. Shadowq was actually the first support to start regularly running purification against high-pressure junglers that like to pick them off.
Now, Sol is a flex pick, but I'm pretty sure that's going over to Zapman, especially with the Neath and the Ul bands as well. Making sure that he's got a very dominant lane here to go aggressive potentially here. Neath, very safe and defensive, and Ul, his wave play is just so strong right now. It's hard to really find the poke.
It's strong wave clear and even better poke against a Soul who is going to be pretty easily red, needs to kind of walk over to the side there. Vulcan going to get picked up for Best. This is really one of the only 2 gods he's played this split, Giannis being the other. He had, I think, a game of Zeus in week 1, but we haven't seen it since.
Since then, it's been Vulcan and Giannis all the way. Vulcan's his 4th game, I believe, so far this split. And back to Denial then for their final picks. They need their Hunter, going to go the way of Vetium, and then on top of that, they're also going to have, there's Jing, and then they also need to pick up something for Benji.
They could look for high pressure. He actually really likes the Amaterasu, but with that picked away instead, he's going to go to the Ravana, looking to get ahead early. This is a very aggressive composition from Denial. The Nemesis, Bacchus, Raijin core like to fight. They like to look to pick off those enemy support players. Guan Yu's going to have to be very careful if that is a support.
It's very funny from Eager, though, because overall in the first spring split here, it was all Ravana picks from them.
Yeah.
Divios took Ravana very early. Like first pick, second pick, always very early. Now he's gone Amaterasu instead. Eager is switching up their strategies.
I want to go back to DreamHack. So Eager also weren't at Epsilon Invitational, but Eager ran that very high pressure, a lot of Fenrir, a lot of Sobek Wheelish, a lot of Ravana. I think it was 14 out of their 28 games. And all they focused on was just snowballing early game and getting ahead. But when they ran into Panthera, they ran the same style and it just didn't go their way. I think they realized that they need to start drafting into other styles of composition to try and face off against the best in the world.
I mean, we're already in game and I'm already looking at the builds and seeing djpernicus has started with Blink on Batz.
So he does this a lot. This is not the first time he did it. He's done it with Cirquet, I think, more than anything. And this is just because he likes to gank early. I expect to see him looking for Benji more than likely. He likes to give a lot of attention to Divios. Amaterasu going to struggle in this lane early. And obviously, Hunbat's not high pressure against the Nemesis. Going to have to play a little bit more passively, look for team fights. And that opens up opportunities for his speed and blue buff to be invaded. So likely to pay a lot of attention over in to this Ravana.
Well, the Diga boys are sat very far back at the moment in their jungle. I'm not sure if they're a little bit worried about an early invader, a ward coming down, but they are going to step forward now, I believe, for this speed buff.
I think they were actually looking for a ward. When wards are first placed, you have about a second before it spawns, so they'd be able to see if there's any vision that Denial's trying to get. If Denial aren't putting vision down, more than likely they're not going to invade, and they recognize that. Just going to be a safe start for them.
Nice, easy speed buff for them. And DJ taking that blink will allow him to just blink in, initiate with ultimate, and then still have Somersault to either continue the aggression if required or disengage too. So only bad news is got to be careful about Hurriwind and Homiefe in mid when he goes there.
And both junglers, I think, going to be taking a trip here to the right lane. No, actually a rotation from the Nemesis, more focused on those mid cams. DJ going to be getting the fire elementals instead. Doesn't feel like he has the poke or the early clear enough to rotate over. Best doesn't want to give these up for free. He's gotten into trouble recently trying to sneak mid harpies away.
He's not going to be able to sneak those away at all. Hurriwind already level 3 now as the fire elementals do go that way. But once again, Denial get pressure in mid here so they can get the left potentially as well.
But what they don't know is that Aror has actually rotated over and sneaking around the mid. Best and DJ getting poked out as Hurriwind jumps forward.
Especially if Guan Yu came around that way, but Aror ended up rotating around the backside, so the pressure's relieved.
Wow,
And actually, DJ just jumped in. Needs some help from Aror here. The shield comes up from Homiefe, and he still wants to kill. He'll find first blood. djpernicus falls down.
2 versus 3. That was so unfortunate. 2 things happened there. Aror rotates in. He's actually coming from underneath Denial, but he gets a little bit worried about it, and so instead takes very defensive pathing. Aror trying to contest these, but he's going to back up with Shadowq rotating in as well. And then DJ goes aggressive, but he misses his jump. It has a slow component on it, which means he would have been guaranteed extra basic attacks onto Homiefe. Doesn't get the damage from the somersault, doesn't get the damage from the extra basics because someone's slowed, and he just doesn't live long enough.
And not only that, Homiefe gets credited for the kill on a Nemesis. You've given her first blood early on, just gets her online just that little bit quicker these days. Those Warrior Tabby will be finished a lot quicker now.
And this is going to be brutal right now. Eager, obviously one good thing there is that DJ didn't have to burn a purification, right? Having a purification over a blink there would not have saved his life. He probably would have been dead either way, unless he purifies an early slow.
Divios in a bit of trouble there against Benji, but Benji respecting the fact minions and the regen from Divios was too good to really find it, but he will hit level 5 earlier and look for a trip back to base.
And now DJ, it's going to be a delayed level 5 from him, which means if he was looking to put pressure in the soul lane, it's not going to be able to happen at the time frame he wanted. Tried to make a big play in mid, now has to play a little bit more defensively, and he's getting pressured in every single lane.
Great call, because they both just hit 5 and they're looking to abuse it, but that Sanctuary from Best is allowing them to turn this around. Look at the pressure from djpernicus on Hurriwind, but he's going to get ulted and forced out. However, Best with a backfire answers back 1-1.
Great play. 2 players level 5 there on Denial. Still, Eager coming out on top. Denial fully committing onto the Best at the edge of that tower. The main issue was that there was still a full wave. The Raijin ultimate completely negated by the well-timed Sanctuary from the Best as well, getting that off before he was taunted and CC'd.
I like that call from Denial. The only problem is Homiefe telegraphed it in the laning phase. That's the only problem I saw from him. He stepped too far forward into the minions too early. He knew he was about to hit the 5. You could see his experience in the bottom left. He was 1 creep off. And as soon as that creep died, he was already in position for the fight, and Eager knew it was coming.
It was a great attempt by Denial, but Eager just getting the better end of it, and DJ now has more than likely recovered his early game losses, because now that Denial took that spill in the mid, they're not going to be able to pressure into the jungle. They can't steal that speed buff. They couldn't have even looked at the red either, and so DJ is going to be able to kind of coast now for the next couple minutes of spawns.
When you mentioned it, it's going to be a mid lane matchup you were expecting here between the Best and Hurriwind.
They're going at it.
He fell down for that one then, and at the same time, Best got that kill, which gives him a small advantage.
But because First Blood obviously going over to Homiefe, that was split as well with Hurriwind, so it's going to be even in gold, but now the Best and DJ aren't going to be pressured. That's the big thing. Because they were so far behind, Denial could have looked to snowball the lead with invades with another kill, right? It just didn't go their way.
Was about being pressured. Divios down to half health there, has no potions in his inventory on that right hand side, so has to be very careful. Use those auras well against Benji, who is in a very comfortable position there.
He's doing a good job, still even in gold right now, but like you said, has used his teleport, so it's going to be down, which means he's going to have to sustain as best he can.
He's getting a rotation from djpernicus though on the right hand side here, potentially, but at the moment it looks like DJ's just going to fall back as Benji recognized there was a couple of issues there, so 5 elementals will be looked at instead from DJ.
Might have been telegraphed, not actually warding on the right side for Denial. They have one at the mid Harpies, and they probably noticed DJ making a trip over there. He's going to have to be very aware. Left-hand Harpies, though, going to go the way of Denial. They're doing a good job of controlling these right now.
Yeah, just for the time being. Their boots are fully online for the Best in the mid lane, though, so those shoes on the Magi will give him a little bit more of a power spike now. As you can see, Eager will take these fire elementals on the right.
2 players just backing right now, both Hurriwind and Homiefe. This could be an opportunity for Eager to rotate to the right-hand side. You could see Homiefe around 2, trying to set up a kill. And djpernicus right over ward, so Denial are going to know if he's going to make the trip here as well.
Surprised that call from Denial wasn't a little bit cleaner. We could have actually seen Benji ult just to force out Divios' ult, and with Nemesis rotating with a speed buff on, they could have found the kill there if they wanted, but better safe than sorry for the time being between the 2 and 5 minutes in. Benji going to try and deny DJ a little bit off this experience. Not going to happen, though, because of the somersault.
Also, Aror taking a trip here, too, found very early boots. Going the sprint as well, so looking more for mobility options. You see a shell on the side of Shadowq, very important in teamfights, also very important for a support who likely wants to be the primary initiator, just having those bonus protections. You could see Shadowq Shadowq, you could have seen Shadowq go into the more aggressive route with the Shoes and the Magi, but he's focused on just getting farm.
Well, at the moment, we've not actually seen both the supports in mid lane so far.
No.
They've both been taking the time over in the duo side. We did see Aror rotate around there early, but Shadowq not really been seen apart from those left-hand harpies now and again, so babysitting Vetium in the early stages for now.
Probably wants to against a Soul. Obviously, Zapman going to have great clear, but, you know, coming into level 7, 8, 9, Vetium will be fine by himself. He's got his boots online, starting to work on the Divios gauntlets, and just going to be focused on farming up. This is going to allow Shadowq those opportunities to rotate in, and Bacchus is a game changer in team fights.
Well, Benji's still trying to force Divios out here, but at the moment he's only got a small little gold lead between the two, and nothing to write home about. However,
here's that second spawn.
No, the second speed buff is about to spawn. Flashing now. Shadowq is in position. The only one showing his face for the time being.
Oh, I think they're actually trying to set up a kill here on a DJ, but Auror's made the rotation as well. Benji teleports in, and Denial just going to back off. I think if they had the timer on that speed buff, they probably would have committed a little bit harder there.
He took that.
Brutal.
He took that. And Homie was even thinking about going back in for the
No,
stid to
not
pick
worth
it up, but taking it away at the last second there, they just looked at him and they couldn't stop him, and now Homie going to rotate round towards the 5 elementals, and Homie taking a trade here still.
He has his ultimate. Also, Purification online. DJ doesn't want to burn it on just the Nemesis. Divios, who just able to back there, probably would have, no, he probably would have died, honestly, if Homiefe had just ulted him.
Well, here's the aggression here. Cavalry charge used by Aror to force back Hurriwind. Hurriwind going to use the ultimate there defensively, and TheBest wasn't on the mark with that ultimate. However, Fear No Weaver from DJ does connect. Not really getting much damage out of the moment. Dinalo on the run here.
Homiefe very low. He's going to be forced out there. Really unfortunate play. Eager probably could have won that much cleaner. Best, though, going for a long-range ultimate, trying to hit Hurriwind while he had that reduced movement speed from Taiko drums, but way overshot it. If he had waited and looked for more of a closer one with synergy on DJ's ultimate, probably would have confirmed a kill there.
I have to kind of give credit to Aror on that more than anything else. He looked very early from the cavalry charge, but that actually zoned the boys of Denali away enough, got the ultimate out as well from Raijin, and to kill the blue.
Well, here's the funny thing about it. Aror had realized he can't go aggressive anymore once he takes that Nem ult, so he rotates back towards his team, but there's actually 3 members of Denial there. Instead of trying to run away, he actually runs towards them, finds the multi-man stun. Best throws the turret as well, which means it's a little bit too dangerous for Denial to keep chasing Aror, even though he's half health. They don't want to invest everything while taking damage from a Vulcan turret.
Well, overall, I mean, it did go the way it did out just because the speed buff went in their favor with Homiefe stealing it, but the after effects, it wasn't going to be a blue buff.
They've got about a 300 to 400 gold lead, most of that coming off of the first gold bounty, but I mean, at 8 minutes in, that's negligible. It's a couple wards here. It's 2 sentry wards.
Yeah, it looks like a patient game coming out from both these two teams realistically here. Homiefe overstepping his boundaries a little bit, go for that speed buff, but got away with it, and that's what you need to do sometimes.
They're just kind of poking.
Yeah.
I think what Homiefe is trying to do is kind of feeling out how Eager are going to react to him. Are they going to let him walk in and contest the buff, or are they going to try and force a fight? Sometimes teams just want to focus on the late game.
Well, Divios gets one and does get away again just in time as the rotation from Denal comes in for the other 2 Fire Elementals there. And Divios just trying to keep farming as much as he can in this lane, getting Amaterasu to that stage where she's almost unkillable.
Eager just want to farm. They have a great team fighting comp late game, but Divios could be in a little bit of trouble here. Still has his ultimate.
That timing was beautiful, though, coming out from Homiefe. Just after the reflection shield goes off cooldown, there's no extra damage from him. Divios is making a good run through the mid lane, though.
And Divios has a lot of movement speed with that aura. You can see it's almost maxed out right now, not even switching stances.
Divios is drawing attention. That's what he needs to do because the Gold Fury is being done here by Eager. But can they get it down in time before Shadowq turns up? They use everything. Eager make a perfect decision there on the gank from Denial.
And now Denial going to try and get something off of this. Gold Fury this early on, not really worth that much. If they can either steal away some camps, get a tier 1, or get a kill, it's going to be a net positive for them. They're going to choose to siege up this tier 1 tower right now, but Denial, or excuse me, Eager, already ready to defend. No ultimates online right now outside of Cavalry Charge.
They can get the speed buff, however, Denial on the right-hand side here, and they will steal it away from Eager one more time. So, grand scheme of things, an early Gold Fury for a kill and a speed buff, it kind of balances out between the two.
Overall, a net positive, though. Eager have kind of moved this gold into their lead. If Denial can get that tower or get a couple kills or maybe a couple more buffs, it's fine, but it's only the speed buff right now, and djpernicus hasn't really been this aggressive factor. We haven't seen him set up a gank yet, but he is going to try and invade this red. Vetium's going to find it out here, and I think Wingust will secure it, trying to hold on for the last hit.
I don't think he had Gust available there, and he does get over the wall. However, Vetium did secure that buff.
Sprint as well, pop from Aror, knowing that their team's a little bit overcommitted deep into Denial's jungle, just trying to get back to safety. They don't want to run the risk of Denial finding a counter engage.
Good little poke from Best there, but it's onto Shadowq, who's nice and tanky already. Gone for the magical defense early on, which I think is very wise to deal with the Best this game so far, and the Soul.
So, Eager strategy as an invade's happening on the right-hand side. Aurora just trying to defend this blue. Benji's not going to give this up for free, though. Overhead kick. not going to secure it.
They're going.
They actually don't mind playing in a Nemesis. All they do is everyone just builds wing blades.
Well, Best going to get stunned out there in the mid lane. Aror, however, is going to follow up on Shadowq now that the flop's down. Vulcan will connect. Only a short range one though. Fear no evil to bring him back towards the turret again. But Shadowq is still alive. And Hurriwind with the drums of war followed by the thunder crash allow Shadowq to wobble his fat ass back to base.
Just not enough damage at this point right now. You could see these teams went winged blade. djpernicus has a wing blade. Best has a wing blade, which is great when Nemesis is going aggressive on you. But for trying to chain down a support player who's got magical resistance online as well as a shell, you just don't have the penetration to get through that yet. So they commit 3 ultimates to try and kill him, but because they've invested in counter building Nemesis, they don't have the damage.
You mentioned counter building, but look what Shadowq just went back to base and picked up. He bought Pestilence
here. Did he not have that fully completed there?
No, he didn't. He was looking for it, but I'm not sure.
Had rank 1 maybe?
However, getting the Pestilence now should be able to shut down Auror's healing a little bit more in this game. Already looking for that, especially with a curse on the side of Benji as well.
20%, it's not that much, but it will add up if you see Aror starting to spam the Conviction. Also, Divios has the stance with heals, as well as Zapman having a little bit of healing himself. It's all minor, but it is important just to make sure those heals are not as effective.
Well, 3-1 for Denial now. It's not much of a gold lead. It's actually even between the two. The experience, however, is slightly favouring Denial here as you look down the levels between these two teams. And the majority of that, I'm generally looking towards Homiefe over djpernicus here.
And Homiefe has just had a great start to the game, finding a first blood kill off of DJ's misplay, then repeatedly invading the speed buff. DJ's been 10 for a couple minutes now, and that's because he tried to go aggressive, set up that kill onto Shadowq where they were just shy. And because of that, Homiefe's been able to free farm and get this lead.
On the left-hand side, you see Vetium walking all the way up there to put a ward down deep on the left-hand side of the left-hand Harpies here before they had the new minion wave to take down. It's funny to see Hunters supporting the mid laners like that so much.
You don't really see that too much, but I mean, this is going to be a critical game for both of them. And despite only 4 kills on the board, this has been very active. Denial constantly pushing forward into Eager's jungle, just being like, all right, how is Eager going to respond? And you can see this time Eager putting 4 members to finish off their speed buff. They know they don't want to have it stolen again.
Well, we're hitting 30 minutes now in this one. I'm just looking towards both the duo laners here, the 2 Hunters that are playing with Sol and Jing Wei. And look at those builds coming online. There's a lot of damage actually involved in those 2 builds now, especially when Jing Wei finishes off that Devour's Gauntlet stack in 2. These are going to start making an impact soon now, Dennis.
This is surprising because Zapman's typical build on Magical Hunters, I guess it's more of a Chronos, is building a Windblade in their kit, which would have been really good counter to Nemesis, but instead going the Demonic Grip, looking for that more in-hand damage. He wants to carry this game once the team fights break out, especially with Gold Fury about to respawn. Oh no, that's Telekines, excuse me.
Telekines, and this is because you were correct with what your analysis was there. You said the wrong name, that's all. But Telekines is actually there for those in-hands. He's a very auto-attack focused hunter, Zapman. Ability-wise, not so much, unless he's playing Ull, obviously granted,
yes.
But in-hands is the main focus of a hunter.
Invade coming out here from Denial, still pressuring into the jungle. Able to get the blue buff. Eager, don't want to give this up for free though. Divios pushing forward, trying to find Hurriwind, but Benji rooting him in place.
Well, Shadowq just flops in place and intoxicates 2, and there's Homiefe with an ultimate looking towards the pick of Divios, but the drums from Hurriwind not really on the mark. Aror keeping him busy as well, but takes a lot of poke back in response here, but a good readjustment from him will force out the mid laner as djpernicus forced into the tier 1. Benji standing tall on the front side as all 5 members of Eager are here.
This is okay for Eager. They only lose their blue buff. They don't lose any lives. DJ getting very close to death there. You could see he was actually trying to stay out of combat and blink onto Hurriwind, find the ultimate. The purification and both relics were up, so it probably wouldn't have been a kill either way, but it was a nice attempt.
Just 100 to 99% is that tower. Sorry, 100 to 1%, I should say, not 99%. But literally, he was a full health and he just sat there in mid lane after that rotation, realized there was no future engagement, and now Eager have, for all intended purposes, lost that tower in mid lane.
But look at this. Gold Fury started up, and look at the wards from Eager, all on the left side of the map right now. They are heavily committing to this, and Zapman's taking up. This is a full commit right now. Zapman shredded.
Looking for kills is what he was after there. Lower them down. Gold Fury actually evened out. Denial get the Gold Fury, and now Denial are pushing in.
This is trouble.
Thunder crashing gets 1 thanks to Shadowq, and that flop from Shadowq will set up for Zap to die too.
Trying to stay alive. Doesn't matter though. Homiefe deep into the tower finds the shot, and now the ult from Nemesis as well. Divios being shredded. No protections. Is going to be safe under the tier 2, but Denial, they already had a lead. Eager fully committed to that Gold Fury. Everything was there. Even when Zapman got hit by the airstrike, even with him tanking up, still stuck onto it, and still couldn't come out on top.
I don't even know who got stole that Gold Fury?
I have no idea who stole it.
I know Denial got it, but I don't know who stole that one away. It could have been Vetium on that Jing way.
I think it was still in the air, maybe? It was close.
It was a very interesting one to see who
Homiefe, maybe?
Who got it. I don't know.
Either way, though, right now, Denial in a really good spot.
So let's give it Shadowq. Let's go with that.
Maybe. The support. It's always the support. Good job, Shadowq. Let's go to the graphs real quick, because this has been such a huge swing in a short amount of time. Before that Gold Fury, it was a dead even game. All of a sudden, a couple extra kills, the tier 1 in mid falls, some more invades onto boars and back harpies, and it's 4,700.
Two tier 1 towers down now in favor of Denial as well. Just to add to that, with Benji getting that one on the right-hand side as well. Before we even hit the 20-minute mark, this is a great little start from Denial coming out now. What's been the biggest issue, though, with that?
I think they built into countering this Nemesis so hard that they delayed their damage, and so when Denial pushed into him, it just doesn't seem like everything's lining up. They seem to be close to finishing people off, but they're a little bit too far behind now in experience. There's a lot of pressure coming from Denial. Hunbat's more of this team fighter. Amaterasu not going to win a lane, and so what you're looking at is Zapman as the only winning lane, and Jingwei hasn't been pressured.
Going to get ulted onto his tower as well, forced to ult in response to keep himself alive. Benji gets stunned on the tower though, and there's djpernicus as well, but Benji
by himself,
tanky enough to stay alive for now as Aror rotates in.
I mean, DJ is 3 levels down on that. He's pushing a Nemesis who's going to be able to shield into his wall, and now that's the biggest team fighting ult Eager have down. It's not going to be able to be used, and Denial, no, they're not going to lose a fight right now, so they're not worried about backing. Well, they're not worried about this chase. It's a bait.
And djpernicus gets hit by the intoxication.
He's still fighting.
There's the drums and they're aimed, looking for DJ one more time as Homiefe over the wall. DJ still alive in the back though as this is still going on. Now Divios is back in the fray, pushing back Denial.
Oh, Aror though, the heal, it's coming in big right now, and Eager going to push forward. Vetium actually finds the solo kill against Zapman on the left-hand side. Denial still fighting 4v4 on the right.
Flopping one more time from Shadowq. No Intoxicate available, but the stun is onto Aror as well. That'll reduce the healing a little bit more. Benji's still looking at Aror as still Divios on the front line trying to help out his team.
Divios getting really lucky there. If Benji had intercepted that silence, that dash, he would have been dead. Homiefe very low, still going in. Benji finds the best, and Divios trying to find a counter kill.
And Homiefe now going to get help from Shadow and his boys of the Denial as well. All 4 members going in deep there to get another one. And that second kill onto Divios, if anything, that was just down to the fact that they stopped to try and help out their mid laner.
They just waited so long. There was CDR online for Nimult as well, so was able to come up twice in that engagement. And in the whole time, you just see Vetium free farming the left. Now he's got a 2-level lead over Zapman. So Denial have no worries about this Soul right now, who's gone into Telekines, going into Demonic Grip. The ability damage is going to be low itself.
Now, I was keeping an eye on that duo lane as that was going on. I didn't see the whole engagement, but it was a constant poke fest between the two. Zapman was slightly losing it, but it took 2 waves of minions for Zapman to actually fall down there. The gust must have hit him a couple of times, maybe a crit or 2
from the explosives
bolts, but Zap wanted to farm too, felt like he could clear it. We may get a replay at some point.
He has both his relics up. I'm wondering if they were forced earlier. And in 18 minutes, it's been the story of early Fire Giants this week. Benji on zone duty, and DJ's not going to be able to get in this. It's on to Aror. Aror's got to steal this.
And his ult's just come back up if he can go in now, but the drums have sounded and he gets blocked in place. The Fire Giant goes the way of Denial, and now it's Eager on the back foot further.
Eager pushed in though, trying to stop it, and because of that, they're overextended. Aurora actually managing to get out here, and djpernicus leading Denial across the map. He'll be able to escape with a great blink play as well, but they're down 8-1 in kills. They're down 8,000 gold. The experience lead has got to be at least 10k right now. With Fire Giant around their waist, Denial are going to be able to siege this tier 2.
Well, they've got guaranteed 4,500 gold available to him in those tier 2 towers they can take with this Fire Giant. Now, sieging mid lane at the moment. Homiefe was in the jungle. Divios and Aror trying to slow them down a little bit. As Shadowq has a little bit of aggro there for the time being, but slowly but surely they poke back in and watch an IMV shim. He's just focusing the tower.
He blinks underneath and he's trying to find Divios, who gets a 3-man stun in return, but Denial, they're not looking to do anything crazy. They have such a comfortable lead. Why risk it? Siege the tier 2, back off. Gold Theory is about to spawn. There's a tier 2 on left. They're playing this very safe. They don't want to give Eager any edge to come back in. Eager is a very good team at delaying games, and their composition is going to be great once they're all level 20, but they're nowhere close.
Well, I think this Gold Fury is very important for both teams right now, actually, and TheBest does have his ultimate up available on Vulcan too. This could spell disaster for either team here, because one of Vulcan ultimate could save it for Eager or push Denial further in the lead.
Eager feel like they have to take this right now.
Yeah.
Denial, while they have an 8K gold lead, a lot of that's in their inventory. They haven't spent it yet. The Vulcan ult, though, going to be way too late. And now Shadowq going to find Divios knocked up, and look at the body blocks. How is he going to get out of this one?
CC chain was perfect there, but Divios is still there for now, but Homiefe closing the gap with a speed buff, and Aror actually going to help out his solo laner one more time. Good stellar burst coming out there as well from Zapman to slow them down, but Denial starting to run away with game one.
djpernicus just trying to get any farm he can right now. He's level 13. He's 4 levels behind Homiefe. He has to get farm online. Let's take a look at gold in hand before these guys back, actually. You can see their entire gold lead was in their inventory. That was Eager's best chance to take a fight.
Although the fire giant was on their side, but they needed that gold fury just to try and even up. I completely agree with you could go for that.
I mean, at this point they had to. They knew if they gave up that gold fury, another tower, once Denial back spent their gold and started sieging with fire giant, it was going to become nearly impossible to take. It was the right presence of mind to look for and engage there to try and steal it away, but it just doesn't go their way.
Well, that fight didn't go their way for quite a while. Now, that whole engagement on this right-hand side that was here for so long around the speed and blue buff that resulted in a couple of kills there, and then obviously Zapman falling down to Vetium in the 1v1 on the left just spelled disaster for Eager in this game, and since then they've just continued marching on now.
It's just been Eager taking really awkward fights, I think, most of this game. djpernicus in the mid lane, once he missed his somersault, he had to back off instead, electing to still go aggressive, so mechanical misplay spelt the first blood, but they did get an answer back, and DJ started farming, but with all their wing blades, they had that full commit onto Shadowq, and it's just been a snowball since then.
Divios pushed to the front now for a second, as Benji's going to take a little bit of poke from TheBest. 4 members strong here for Eager. Keep an eye on djpernicus flanking around the left-hand side.
Best needs a big ult. Best needs, like, the biggest ult. He needs everyone to get hit, and he needs none of them to have Sanctuary up for it.
Well, this will be the first 5-on-5 we've actually seen this game with this Phoenix on the right-hand side here. We may see some split pushing coming out, but the other lanes are actually pushed up at the moment, so it's just a hard committal for Denial for this one.
Denial, yeah, they can either A, just fully go in, or B, they can start pushing these side lanes, which it seems like they want to fight. They're so far ahead in experience. They've got multiple items on their opposition. There's no real reason to play it that safe for them.
Well, they don't have curses though right now, so maybe they're waiting on the curses on a road just so no shenanigans happen with that meditate as well.
DJ's got to be here, man. DJ's not here, and Denial know it, so they're going to full commit 5v4.
In goes the drums of Warren already. You'll see Aror forced out of the engagement. One hit from Death, forced to ult. Now DJ comes in with a Fear No Evil. The Phoenix is still standing here, but Shadowq have the aggro. That Vulcan ultimate did absolutely nothing in that engagement, and Benji's looking for damage at the moment onto the Phoenix. They may still get to get it as Hurriwind just gets away from that backfire.
But Best went so far deep, he's going to get knocked up, and Eager actually managing to hold this out for now. The healing is solid. Phoenix finally falls. The crits are good for Vetium, and DJ and TheBest are chasing in. Airstrike out. Denial on full retreat right now.
It seems every man for themselves on the side of Denial. Vetium is probably going to fall down to Divios now. Vetium has nothing available apart from the agility just to give him a little bit more room. But him and Benji are running through the lives at the moment. And this is a chance for Eager to try and claim something back now with the Fire Giant about to spawn as well.
I don't know, man. Benji is way too tanky for this. But Hurriwind actually pushing himself up is going to Thunder Crash away. It's going to be the full 5-man grouping. Hopefully this tier 1 for them, at least that's their plan. Shadowq still hanging around, looking for an opportunity to get some stuns, get a knock-up as the rest of Denial coming out of base.
They can't look for the Fire Giant right now because Aror is also out at mana here, has to base very quickly so he can try and sustain his team back up a little bit more in this one. But they can look to defend the Fire Giant now, Eager, because a few more seconds till you see Vetium, still another 30 seconds till he spawns.
That's the thing about Eager, man. They will hold out until the last chance. They never give up. They never give you anything for free. You're going to have to battle and fight your way. Denial with a 14,000 experience lead and over a 10,000 gold lead and a Fire Giant. I mean, barely got that Phoenix. Coming off
the back of that 2-0 loss to LG as well. This is a very good performance from them so far in this set. Very tactical counter builds involved in this one as well, with pestilences, making sure there's anti-heals with 2 curses online as well. Very respectful to the amount of sustain that these Eager boys have as well, but they've just seemed to have picked them apart a little bit too much.
Eager's still looking for their experience. It's just been a snowball fest with, once Homiefe got a couple level lead, he kept looking for these opportunities, and even though it wasn't much, I mean, Denial only have 8 kills. That's not a ton. What it did is it pressured so much out of them that they were able to get that gold fury that they stole away. They were able to get all the speed buffs, all the blue buffs, all the red buffs they stole and stripped. It just became this amassing lead that Eager not easy to fight into.
I like what Vetium's doing there. Now going back to base, going to do the back collar piece here because he's got Devour's gauntlets, so we can just sustain back off them a little bit, give him a little bit more sustain so we can stay in this engagement. And meanwhile, the rest of his team keeping Eager in a very contained zone around their own speed buff.
Eager could almost look to farm up. You could see the best trying to get the red buff. Very important for a mage to have that this late into the game.
I don't think they can farm up because the Fire Giant's being done on us right now. They've got to come in here. Aror will be the first one to lead his troops in as Divios too. And if they can look for Divios, that's what they're doing. Look at the burst damage. That's a tank, that is.
That was a really good ultimate from him, and Hurriwind's gonna find the kill. Benji still pushing forward. Aurora around the corner. He has his ultimate. There's the curse as well, just trying to slow the advance, but the best on one hit. Benji still chasing him down. Zapman around the corner looking for the knockups, but it's way off the mark, and a double from Shadowq. Auror's cleaned up. Zapman deep into his Phoenix, and Benji still chasing.
And now the second Phoenix can be looked at by Denial as well. They'll get this for free. Zapman can't defend that on his own. djpernicus was deep in the jungle away from this engagement to try and defend. Phoenix will fall in mid eventually.
I don't know, man. It's not that easy. There it is. And now Eager not really in a spot to chase. Divios and Aror had died. Divios was really the player that allowed Eager to chase out Denial the last time they got a Phoenix because of that aura giving them bonus movement speed. But without him, it's not going to be possible. They do have Wing Blades 4 online now, only Zap without it. So the Nim ult not going to be super effective, but they just lack the damage to kill targets.
Well, I mean, they're healthy enough to go straight to the Fire Giant after just winning their team fight and getting a Phoenix. That's a good state of place to be in for Denial now is in the jungle. Benji keeping Best at bay.
Oh, Divios actually forcing Denial to reset the Gold Fury. Divios, though.
DJ has his ultimate as well, but he's going to get the Fear no Evil off and keep Shadowq aggroing the Fire Giant there. Get out of danger again, but the Fire Giant stands, forced to reset. However, Denial, they want DJ. At least Homiefe does going to continue chasing the monkey.
It's not going to be an easy kill, but DJ is buying a lot of time. Even if he falls here in the end, he wants to get his jump up before the slow. Unfortunately, not going to happen. But I think his Wing Blade proc was still up, and that actually helped him escape right there.
The Phoenix on the right side just respawned. The two carries they're trying to defend. I think they'll just keep it at bay, which is
How are
very
Eager
important.
holding this, man? I don't understand. Like, Denial have been trying so hard to close out, but they've kind of been chasing a lot of targets, which is buying Eager so much time to farm up, get experience. You can see Zapman level 19, the best, only 3 levels behind Hurriwind now. It's Vulcan, still not a good spot.
If you're an Eager fan, in Vulcan you trust right now. He's got his ultimate available. He's attempted a couple right now. This one's more important. Here's the ultimate coming in. Immediately aggro is dropped. It's not enough damage though. Auror's in there trying to defend and pick it up for himself, but he's going to fall down to the might of Hurriwind and Denial.
Denial pushing forward here. A jump in from Benji. Best going to be falling. Disapparated. It's only going to save Zap for a second. He's rooted in place. Sanctuary still buying time. The knockup's going to be good, but it's too much damage. Too tanky or Denial right now. They're going to kill the weakened Phoenix. It's up to DJ and Divios to stop this. Red pot's coming out for both of them right now, but I don't see how it's going to happen.
For over 30 seconds here. Denial will take game 1 and comfortably take game 1 as well. A good performance from them. Eager though put on the back foot after that first game between these two. What was the biggest issues?
So you just look at base damage, and Batz doesn't really bring a lot at the start. He's very item dependent. Once he can get his crit online, utilizing his passive, it's going to be great. But the issue is that DJ kept trying to force a couple fights, I think, that were a little bit misguided. Probably not the best ones to go for. And I'm going to go back to Shadowq in the mid lane. That's really where it came down to, where we saw 3 ultimates burned. We saw the Guan ult, we saw the Vulcan ult, and the Batz ult committing onto a Bacchus with 50% or maybe 70% HP. And still he walks out of there pretty healthy. And then after that, it was the Gold Fury steal that just sealed it.
Well, let's look at that goal for UC. We don't often go to replays between games, but who got it? I think with the cameraman being here in Hurriwind, it looks like him or Vetium.
Him or Vetium, one of the two. But and this was an even game until that Gold Fury steal. Immediately after that, not only does the Gold Fury go their way, but all the camps, a couple players, the tower in mid, and it just 0 to 4K in a second.
And as you guys